If I could rearrange the alphabet, I would put you and I together.
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcast don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well on this Tuesday and just ripping right in. What did I miss? What's been going on in the Can't Get Any Worse world at the moment? Had a couple of messages and shit like that after last week. And don't worry, guys, we're going to touch on it, but I'm going to leave it to the end of the episode because what I'm going to do today, I'm going to try and come in here. I'm going to try and come in on a high and just ride this wave, okay? So I think there is no better way to kick this episode off than just venturing into whatever the fuck that opening clip was. Let's hit play on that lady again.
If I could rearrange the alphabet, I would put you and I together.
Wow, grannies were different back in my day. Like back in my day, grannies used to knit and like bake goods and things like that for you. And these days they're just sucking off their grandkids. So what the fuck is going on there? That just started off as like one of those traditional Hallmark cards and just ended in a police report. But my God, what a way to kick off the episode. What episode are we up to? I don't even fucking know. Is this 229? I think this might be episode 229. But again, last week it was a rough one. And as I mentioned before, I have a bit of a recap, a bit of an update, a bit of all that at the end of the episode. So what I'm going to do, I figured I had a few more stories last week and I just pulled the pin because I wouldn't have been able to give them the attention they deserve, the good storytelling they deserved, I suppose you could say. But before we do rip into my first story from last week, let's crack this delicious can of Celsius. Oh, yeah. And again, we've got the splatter in the face. What do we got this week? I haven't had one of these ones in a while. Sunset Vibe, mango passion fruit. Oh, this sounds delicious. Let's have a little sippy susu. Never lets me down, Celsius. Never lets me down. I was supposed to send them a little email last week, but didn't really want to hit them up for sponsorship on the back of last week's performance. So let's make sure this episode is an absolute cracker and let's rip in. So I think the last story I went to like dip my toes in last week was I said it was my niece's birthday party, okay? And she had her birthday party at a local pub here called Fitzy's. It is about 5 minutes from my house. Just one of the classic go-tos in the Logan area, okay? And the boys are playing. They're all having the sickest time. It's just undergone this big reno. So it's not a bad little place to go to now. It's actually, they've got like a big screen out on a deck now. I am considering going to watch the next UFC card down there. So if anyone, hey, this could be a fun thing to do actually. Anyone that does live in my area, if you want to come and watch the fights with me for UFC, whatever the next one is, I might actually plug that in the UFC breakdown. That sounds like a sick idea. Let's put a pin in that one. Anyway, let's get on to what this story is all about. So the boys are playing in this playground and they come up to me. They go, "Dad, we're thirsty." And I go, "Okay, no worries. What do you want?" And they go, "Can we get a Fanta?" And I've gone, "Sure." Easy enough, okay? That is a simple drink. Let's rank drinks for a second. Coke, that is everyone's go-to. Everywhere stocks Coke. Lemonade, okay, that could venture into like a Sprite or a 7-Up or even just a Schweppes lemonade, you know? There's different variants of it, but everywhere will stock a lemonade. Creaming soda. Everywhere's got a creaming soda. And a Fanta. Fanta is a generic orange drink. Most places have it. If they don't have Fanta, they got Sunkist, okay? Is there any other orange drinks? I don't think so. Fanta or Sunkist, that's your go-tos. So I go, "No worries, boys. Let's go to the bar." So I take both boys up to the bar. Long line. So we're lined up. We finally get there. And I say to the bartender, ever so confidently, I go, "Hey, mate, just 2 Fantas, please." And he looks at me and he goes, with a smile on his face. Let's emphasize the smile that he had on his face. He goes, "We don't have Fanta." And because he was smiling, I've given a little giggle back. I've gone, yeah, right. Thinking he's making a joke that it's like a bar, okay? So like, why are you coming to the bar and you're not ordering these two young lads a Super Crisp or something like that? So I go, yeah, nah, just two Fantas, thanks. Thinking he's joking. He doubles down. He looks at me, now with a somewhat serious look on his face, and he goes, "No, we don't have Fanta." And I've gone, oh, okay. As I listed at the start of this story, let's try our next option. I go, okay, a Sunkist will be fine. And he goes, "No, we don't have any of that." Now, I've started to panic. The awkwardness of James starts to kick in, and I go, I almost wanted to walk away. If my two kids weren't there, I would have been the biggest beta bitch of all time and just bailed. But I know these two boys can't look at their dad and go, wow, look at this little bitch trying to order a drink from a bar and he just has to run away like a little girl. So I have to look down to the boys and I go, they don't have Fanta. What else do you want? And they're just looking at me in as much confusion as I have to the situation right now. And they don't have anything. And I go, do you just want like a Coke or a lemonade or something? Like, please just throw any drink out there just so we can all get out of this situation. I hate this as much as you guys do. And Westy pipes up luckily and he goes, oh, just a lemonade will be fine. So I look at the guy, I go, do you have lemonade? And he goes, yeah, we've got lemonade. And I go, just two of those then, please. Like, these kids are just looking at me, just the disrespect they had for their father right now. It was absolutely insane. So he pours the two lemonades. I pull my wallet out. I go to pay for it. And he just looks at me, doesn't say anything to start with. He just waves at the drinks as if to say, like, wave them off. And I go, oh, how much is it? He goes, nah, just on the house. And I don't know. I felt a little bit insulted at this moment. There were two options, okay? He thought that I was so retarded that he was like, oh, this guy deserves 2 free drinks. And I go, you sure? And he's like, yeah, 100% on the house. And my only saving grace, I'm hoping that it was like a certain hour where kids get free drinks or something. But I really don't think it was that. I think he thought I was special needs and he thought these kids were my carers or something. But I just had to take them, and I don't know. When my two boys, when they finally turn 18, we're probably still going to be in this shit house of a place we call a home, and they're going to venture down to the local one day, and there's just going to be a sign of me behind the bar, just in a plaque or something of just like, do not serve this guy because he does not know how to be a grown adult and order adult drinks from the bar. So that was my little time at the local Fitzy's, just Fitzy's Fanta right there. That could be an episode title. Why is my mouse not working? Absolutely, we're just kicking goals around here. Good news though, I fixed my mic arm. It seems to, look at that. Look at the motion I have in that. I could put it all the way out here. Look, ready? I'll stretch it out. You guys probably can't hear me so well now. And now it's nice and close. That is just a live demonstration of how good my mic arm is working right now. So let me take another sip. All right, one other story I had from last week, and then we'll get on to what's happened this week. I've tossed this around on the podcast for upwards of a month now. And last week I pulled the trigger, and I have got into the world of UFC trading cards, and my God, I knew it. I knew as soon as I just like ventured into a card store or something like that, or just got my first pack, I knew I was going to be hooked, and new addiction is unlocked. Okay. I had a shitty day at work last week. Just absolutely dog shit. It was the day where the ringtone story from last week, it was after that. So I was in the dumps, and I was cruising back to work from the north side of Brisbane. And obviously I've done like hours and hours upon research of these UFC cards. And I've sort of got a rough idea of now where all the Brisbane card shops are. And I was on a road and I was driving, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that card shop is on this road somewhere. And almost like a sign from the card gods, within a couple of minutes, I see the sign. And I go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm having a shitty day. I'm going to use my smoko time today to pop in and have a look at this card shop. And I don't know what it was, guys. I have not had that feeling in the longest time. But I don't know. It's weird to say, because you think of like collectibles and cards and things like that. It's just full of nerdy people. And I don't know why, but I just felt so intimidated to like step into the card shop. I felt like all these nerds were just going to judge the fuck out of me and be like, he doesn't belong, let's shun him. And they were just going to scream me out of the store. And I would have to say I was met by the opposite. Everyone in there was so nice. The people behind the counter, they were all polite and like asking if I need help with anything, trying to like educate me on some cards and shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm just having a look at this stage. So I'm looking in there. I was in there for like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes for the purposes of my boss potentially listening to this. And just like they got all these racks and shit of just single cards. Like you could buy packs, but they sell single cards as well if you're looking for a particular fighter or a particular basketball player or something like that. And I was hooked. I was like, this is the shit. And I was just going down all the aisles. I was looking at everything and I was like, looked at my watch and I'm like, okay, I better get back on the road. So I went to the counter because that's where all their boxes were of UFC cards. Oh, well, of cards in general, sorry. And I'm looking and the guy behind the counter goes, oh, what are you looking for? I go, oh, have you got any, the UFC cards I wanted were Topps Chrome, UFC Topps Chrome. And he goes, oh, no, we've got them at the warehouse. I could get them here in like an hour for you if you want. And I'm like, oh, I'm just passing through. I'm heading back down to the Gold Coast. He's like, oh, okay, no worries. And as I've gone to walk out, I noticed on the counter they had these other ones. They're called UFC. They're still Topps, but they're called Finest. And I was like, you know what? Let's just get a couple of packs of those just to crack something, just to open them and see what this world's all about. So I grabbed 2 packs of those and ventured all the way back to work. I was going to open them at work, but then I got back to work and I was just met by chaos. So I didn't actually get to open them until I got home. And my God, I'm glad I waited because I just got to sit down at the dining table, lay out the packs, get all excited and shit like that. And just that first rip of that pack of cards, I cannot explain that feeling. I don't know what it was. And then I just start looking through these cards and I'm just looking at all these fighters that I've like idolized for the longest time. But don't get me wrong. All the cards are worth fucking like 10 cents. But I got 2 decent hits, okay? So they were $12 a pack, so $24 all up. I opened the first pack and I get a Sugar Sean O'Malley. It's got a teal background and it's like fucking, what are they called? I think they're called, I'm still learning the card game, okay? So don't fucking come at me. I think they're called like a refractor or something like that. And this card is absolutely beautiful. And it's Sugar Sean with the title belt. He's got his like rainbow hair. And I was like, that is sick. Like to me, that card is worth like $1 million. Straight away, I jump on eBay. It's selling for like $38. And I'm like, my God, if I put this on eBay right now, I've already paid for the packs, like instant profit. And that's just what I knew. I was like, oh God, now you're turning this into a business. Now it's just going to be a failed fucking Jimmy Misson business venture again. And then I opened the next pack, same deal. Who was the one in the next pack? I forget the next one, but it wasn't really a fighter I liked, but same deal, went on eBay, recent sales of $25. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is so sick. And then it begins, okay? I've said Parker and Westy, they're obsessed with collecting the NRL cards at the moment. They're pretty cool, but like they're worth fuck all. So now I'm trying to get Westy in the world of NBA cards, and now I've got him hooked on those. And so the other weekend, another card shop I've been looking at is down at Coomera, which is like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes from our house. And Westy goes, oh, can we go down to that card shop and have a look? And I'm like, sure. So Westy and I venture down there. They've got a box of, again, not the UFC cards I wanted. They're called like Stadium Club or something. And they're worth fuck all again. But again, for the purposes of just getting that dopamine hit of ripping a pack of cards again, I just got a box and it was like $50 or something. And again, I hit one card in that whole box, jumped on eBay, paid for the box again. And I'm like, am I going to get into the world of flipping cards? Is this my new hobby? And like, I'm addicted as well on TikTok and another app called Whatnot. And it's just people on there like breaking cards and like selling cards and things like that. And it irritated me that they're like, I don't know. Again, I don't want to be that guy because you guys listen to my UFC breakdowns. I cannot pronounce 80% of the UFC roster. But hearing people like jump on there, they break a card and they're like, oh, Amanda Nunes, is she a good fighter, chat? I don't know anything about her. Bro, she's the GOAT fucking women's fighter of all time and you don't know her name. It was offensive. And I'm like, am I the guy to come and save the world of UFC trading cards? I don't know. Dana, holler at your boy. And then the following weekend, now Parker wants to come to the card shop. This is becoming like a weekly tradition. This weekend just gone was the first weekend in 3 weeks that I haven't gone to get like cards. And now Parker's addicted to the card shop as well. So that time I took Westy and Parker, we spent like an hour going through this card shop because I stumbled across another thing. They're called they call them card bins or something. Now every card in this card bin, there's hundreds of cards just in sleeves. And you flip through them all and you find cards that you want. And there's like a ranking. So they start from $2 a card all the way up to like $20 a card. And I ended up finding like 6 cards in the $2 bin that I didn't know if they were going to be worth anything, but I was like, I have a weird feeling. Like I said, I'm learning all the different types of cards you can get, the different color backgrounds and all that. They all mean like a different tier of the card. So I'm flipping through there and I'm seeing some absolute bangers in there that I'm like, I feel like these could be worth something. So I get 6 cards out of the $2 bin, and then I see this thick card in the other bin. It was $5, and it was of Norma Dumont. She fought yesterday, and unfortunately she got a loss, but she was seen as like the next title contender. And I was like, fuck, this is a $5 card. It's a numbered card, which means it's worth more. And it was a I forget what like little branch of UFC cards it was out of, but it was one of the higher up ones. And I'm like, I reckon that's going to be worth some money. So I get that one as well. Come home, I start looking up all these cards on eBay, and I have got some absolute hits again. And I'm like, I'm in. I'm all in. I got a, sorry for us. I don't know if you guys can tell the passion in my voice, but I've found a new little fucking side project. In the $2 bin, I was flipping through it, and rookie cards, they're worth like more again. And Movsar Evloev, he's next in title contention to fight Volkanovski for the belt. I see his rookie card with an orange background with the like laser effect on it. So again, I think it's called laser. Don't come at me if you're into collecting cards and shit like that. And I'm like, surely that's going to be worth some money. I get that home. $2 I paid for that. Last sold on eBay was $99. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is worth more than fucking... I invested like $500 in crypto, I don't know, 6 years ago or something. That shit has plummeted more than anything. I'm going to take all my crypto money out when it finally gets back up to some sort of respectable amount. And I'm just going to fucking go down to the card shop and I'm just going to buy heaps of cards from the $2 bin, and I'm going to make more than I've ever made in crypto. So fuck me. I am actually absolutely hooked. And I've started looking at NBA cards as well, because I know UFC is like such a niche market, whereas NBA, NFL, baseball, all that shit, it's a wider net. And the thing with me is all those cards I pulled from the $2 bin, I want to keep. Like, they're all fighters that I like and shit like that. Like, I pulled a Brock Lesnar card out of there, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I'm thinking potentially maybe keep UFC cards, at least the ones that I want, and just flip the NBA and baseball cards and things like that. So I don't know. It's exciting times around here for me, and finding a new little joy. Like, it was sick. So if you're into trading cards, hit me up. Keen to talk shop with you guys. But let's break out of that before we get into this week's stories with another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Which one is this? This one, I think. It would help if I titled my videos properly. But anyway, let's hit play.
I'm not just some disabled person you're abusing, Lisa. I'm the leader of the world, and there's a nuclear attack being threatened by a major power. Yes, I know it's a big fucking deal. Why do you want to make this about yourself again, Lisa? We're already over it.
Jesus Christ. That's a world leader. And these days, it doesn't surprise me. Like, he could be in contention to be the next leader of the free world. But I don't know. To me, that doesn't scream world leader. That just screams a bloke on Centrelink with Macca's Wi-Fi. But Lisa, why are you doing this to him? Why are you doing this to potentially our only hope to save the free world? Just loving the Servo Sunnies and the bright red top hat as well. So shout out to that legend. All right, some stories this week. It hasn't been a huge week, okay? Which My stories from the week are probably going to be pretty small, but my God, have I consumed some shit towards the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that. Let's kick it off with this. Westy was out the front the other afternoon with his friends. They were kicking the football, which, again, I'm loving all this outside play. It's got both my boys off their screens and shit. They're riding bikes. They're fucking kicking balls. They're out in our backyard playing on the playground, just being kids, and I'm fucking loving it. And the other afternoon, I was inside doing something on the laptop. And as a parent, there's something in you that just triggers when you hear a kid scream. And there is that extra trigger when you know it's your kid screaming. And I just hear this scream come from the front yard, and I've gone, oh God, that's Westy's scream. So I've got up out of my office chair, run to the front door, and before I could open the front door, Westy has screamed in the front door with his face covered in blood. Now, I know people say that, and it's like a bit of an exaggeration. When I say his face was covered in blood, there was not one glimmer of skin that I could see through this red mask of his. He looked like Kane from WWE. That's what he looked like. He looked like he'd just been in a Hell in a Cell match or something. I thought fucking Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross were about to commentate on whatever had just gone down in here. And I'm like, what is going on? I think this kid's just unlocked some trauma that I can't afford. And I'm starting to prepare myself. Like, as a parent, you don't want to take your kid to the hospital looking like this. Like, I'm starting to prepare my hospital speech like, oh, it's just a paper cut or something like that, trying to distance myself from the situation, trying to come up with some sort of excuse that I was watching him the whole time. So I'm like freaking out just as much as he is. And I'm trying to get him to explain to me what had happened. But he is just in a state. He is just screaming and just mumbling. And I just get the roll of paper towels and I'm just compressing his face and trying to wipe all the blood away. But as soon as the paper towel's full, I pull it away and his face just starts gushing again, like from the bridge of his nose, like between his eyes. And I end up filling 4 paper towels just full of blood. Blood all over his fucking clothes, all over the floor, everywhere. It was just gushing out like a waterfall. And I finally, after the 4th paper towel, it starts to die down a little bit to just like a small trickle down his face. And I'm starting to like settle him down and he just mumbles the sentence, I've been hit in the face with a rake. And then I start to panic again. Like, then I start to think about the WWE match again. I go, what were you guys doing out there? Now I'm starting to get like a little bit, I don't know, as a parent, when your kid says something like that, you start to, I don't know. I was trying to be empathetic, but at the same time, I got a little bit angry. Like, why the fuck were you hitting each other with rakes and shit like that? Like, that is dumb. And I'm like, what? How did you get hit in the face with a rake? And then he starts like screaming again. And I'm like, I stop the bleeding. I throw him in the shower. And then he starts to settle down and he goes, oh, the kid hit me in the face with a rake. And I've gone, what? Again, I'm trying to get the full story. And then next minute, Westy is in the shower and this kid rocks up to my house with his dad and they're starting to try, like, I don't know if I've said it before. The neighborhood kids think that I'm a bit of a psychopath. I don't know where they got this idea from. Like, for example, I'm so nice. Like they rode to the corner shop yesterday and it was bucketing down rain. And Westy calls us and he goes, oh, it's raining. We don't want to ride all the way back. I drove all the way there, managed to like Tetris all their bikes and scooters in the back of Nikita's car and drove them all the way home so they're dry. Like, why? How am I a bad person? Anyway, this kid rocks up with his dad and they're starting trying to like explain it was an accident and hope everything's okay. And I'm like, yeah, Westy's just in the shower. I'm just trying to stop the bleeding and calm him down. And they're just wanting to like chat for the longest time. I'm like, look, I understand, like, and it's an accident. Like, I don't care. Everything's all good. I just got to get back to Westy. So I go back to Westy and then I get the full story from him now that he's calmed down with a little bit of like commentary from P. So all in all, it was a genuine accident. Westy's okay. They kicked the football into the bush that we live beside and they're trying to scoop this thing out with a rake. Now, Westy's friend had the rake and he had the football, but it must have like given way a little bit just as Westy was walking back behind him and just the handle of the rake just flew back and hit Westy in the bridge of the nose. And I was like, oh, God. But Westy got a nice little shiner out of it. His first black eye, I believe. I'm trying to remember if he's had one before. But, yeah, just absolute crazy. It went from And like once we got the bleed to stop, it was the smallest cut I've ever seen. Like it looked like I just poked him with an end of a pen. That's how big it was. I don't know why it gushed so bad. But it went from like calling an ambulance to walk it off champ in the matter of like 10 minutes. So, speaking about kids, my other kid, I'm going to take a little sip of Celsius before we get into our next one. And I would like to say I've just looked down at the clock and we have already gone longer than last week's episode. So I'd like to think that is a good sign. Oh, yeah. That is some absolutely good shit. Look, I don't even know what this story is. It's more just sometimes I treat the podcast as a bit of a diary. Someday I'm going to look back at all the episodes and just listen to them and go, oh, that was a good part of my life, or that was a shit part of my life. And so this is more just like a little note for myself for the future. So I've mentioned on here, I've been trying to get Parker into some sort of hobby, just show interest in anything for the longest time. And I think because I don't know, you're sort of governed by your oldest kid, I suppose. And because Westy is absolutely obsessed with sport, like everything he does is something to do around sport, I think we've just been trying to push Parker down that lane forever. And I suppose we didn't really explore other options with him. And finally, over the weekend, it was actually only yesterday. So it's been 24 hours. Whether or not he sticks to it, I'm hoping he does. I mean, he's been all for it all morning again today. But he was fucking around on his iPad yesterday and he goes, oh, Dad, can I download this app? And I've looked at it and it was GarageBand. So for all the Apple users, it's more or less like it's like a quick and easy, cheap, like music making software. And I'm like, oh, you're not really going to use that. Like it's not a game. And he's like, oh, I just want to download it and see what it does. And I'm like, okay. I go, you're not going to use it. So I download this app. He goes off to his room and he's just in there just fucking around on it for half an hour or so. And I go in there to check on him. I'm like, you all good, P? He's like, yeah, I'm just playing with this thing. It's so cool. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing on there? And he's like, he's already sussed the app. I don't know how kids suss shit so quickly. Like, I think I've said this before, but back when I was a kid, my family used to think I was a genius when I'd like go behind the TV and plug like the red, white and yellow cords in the back and get the TV working. And they're like, oh, wow, you're a technological genius. So this kid's already sussed GarageBand and he's like showing me how he's going between guitar and drums and piano and all that shit. And look, was he making any masterpieces? Absolutely not. It was like, it sounded like a microwave fighting a dog or something like that. But at the same time, I was just so fucking like proud that he'd found something that he liked and he was like having a crack at it. And I've gone, oh, like, are you having fun doing this? He's like, yeah, it's the sickest thing I've ever seen. And he ends up like spending another hour on it. He's come to me again. He's showing me this new little beat that he's made and he's found the section where you can add your voice and he's just doing like weird Skrillex noises in it, like just looping his voice and shit over his beats that he's making. And I'm like, did you make that? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's so cool, P. And he's like, yeah, I think I want to do music. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm all in. I'm like, let's fucking whatever you want to do this shit. And he goes, he keeps playing on it again. And then he comes out again. And he's like, Dad, can I get like a real drum kit? And I'm like, 100%. Like I'm on Marketplace. I'm looking at like $50 drum kits in my area. Turns out there is not any. And he's like, oh, maybe I want to play the guitar actually. And I'm like, okay, well, you sit down, you have a think what instrument you want to learn first. I'm like, you can learn everything if you want. I'm like, but let's just start with like one instrument. He's like, oh, okay, I'll have a think about it. And he woke up this morning. He's like, I think I've landed on drums. I think I want to learn drums first. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do. So now this broke piece of shit just has to work out how he can afford a drum kit for his son. There's nothing, I don't know, there's nothing more expensive than your kid finding a new passion. Like Westy's basketball registration, we had to pay that yesterday because his next season starts this Saturday. $280 or something just for him to go and play basketball. I don't even know what that goes towards because we don't get to keep their jerseys. We have to score. I don't know. Like, is that how much these junior referees are getting paid to referee under 10s basketball? Because if so, sign me up. But yeah, I also, he's like, oh, can I go and use your studio? And I'm like, oh, it's not really like a music studio. He's like, yeah, I just want to use the microphone and the headphones. And I'm like, okay. So he comes in here, he's playing around, he's like speaking in here. And I'm like, oh, Pete, give me your iPad. I'll see if I can hook your iPad up to the Rodecaster. And he ended up like, I hooked it up for him. And he was just sitting in here for like another hour or so last night, just sitting in this chair. He had his iPad up on my little laptop stand over there. He's just making beats and playing them back through the Rodecaster. It was sick. So I guess, again, I don't know what that story's all about. It's just a proud little dad moment that he's found something that he enjoys. So shout out to that, and hopefully it does continue for him. But let's rip into a story about me. That's what we're all here for, right? We want to hear stupid stories from my life. And this guy he's beginning to become a regular feature of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. I just want to speak about my new cool guy doctor because I returned to him last Thursday to get my MRI results. And we begin the session. He goes, look, basically your knee's fucked. And I'm like, thanks, doc. I already knew that. And he goes, yeah, so like, to be honest, it's more messed up than your last MRI. He goes, I can understand why you're in like so much pain. And I'm like, okay, all good signs. Where are we going to here? And he goes, basically the public system. He looked on his computer. He goes, it's going to be 390 days before they even see you. And I'm like, great. And he goes, and once they see you, it is very rare that they entertain meniscus injuries. He goes, the public system, all they want to do is like full knee reconstructions, ACL injuries, all that sort of shit. Any annoying shit like this, like meniscus tears and cysts and all that inside your knee, they're just going to want to put you through the physio system there for years and hope your knee comes better, or hope that your knee fucks out even more and then they can do a full knee reconstruction. And I've gone, okay, that's less than ideal news. And he goes, okay, so what are we going to do? And he goes, I got two options. He goes, I can do that for you. I can put you in the public system and you can just go and live your life until they call you. And he goes, or my recommendation would be you go and get private health insurance. You wait the year that you have to wait, and then you just go and get the surgery through the private system. And he goes, then you get the surgery fucking for free or whatever, for whatever your insurance fees are. And you're getting seen quicker than the 390 days. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm not too keen on that. Like, I don't really have the funds to go out and get private health insurance. And he goes, oh, the other option is I can put you on like a fucking like physio thing. Like, what's it called? Where they give you like free physio or something. Like health plan or I don't know, something. And he goes, you can do that and then we'll just keep refreshing that until you get seen with the public system. And I'm like, look, to be honest, I'm probably just going to do that. I'm like, just book me for the physio and we'll see how it goes. And we did all that. He filled out all the forms. Now I'm there for my knee, okay? And I understand this next little part of the segment. I completely understand it. I am overweight. I've acknowledged that. I've said on here countless times, I'm trying to lose weight, things like that. And he just hits me with this jab right before I go. He goes, just another thing that's obviously going to help the knee is if you lose weight. And I've gone, yep, I completely understand that. Then I go back at him. I go, I was actually losing a bit of weight. I lost like 8 kilos or so. Then I fucked my knee. And now I'm sort of plateaued around that. Like I haven't put any weight back on, but I'm definitely not losing any more weight. And I go, I can't really run on the knee. I'm struggling to walk the dog on the knee. I go, I'm trying to do like the elliptical at gym. I'm trying to do the stationary bike. But again, it's just hard with the knee. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, what if I was to give you an easier option? And I've gone, what do you mean? And he goes, what if I was going to prescribe you weight loss drugs today? And I go, okay, this is quickly turned from a sore knee to a sales pitch very, very quickly. And I've gone, oh, okay. I go, yeah, I've heard about them, but look, I'm keen to just fucking do the hard yards, do the workouts, fix my diet, things like that. And he's like, oh, like it's easy enough. Like I can prescribe it to you today. You can go to the chemist right now. You can start the injections like tomorrow. And I've gone, yeah, 100%, I get it. And then he leans over to his drawer. He starts pulling out needles and stuff and just giving me demonstrations. He goes, this is the needle. You'll do it twice a week. It'll be $28 for the first 4 weeks or something. Then it goes up to $46. And I'm like, I can't afford that. And I go, look, completely understand it. I get it. And at the same time, I'm like, where's this energy when it comes to like fixing my knee or my low testosterone or things like that? You don't want to like put this amount of effort into this. And the only thing I can put it down to, I've heard rumors, don't fucking come at me. I've heard rumors that they get little kickbacks from prescribing the weight loss medication. And do I have my tinfoil hat on right now? Potentially. But did he have this much enthusiasm when it came to fixing my knee? Definitely not. So I don't know where this all came from, but I just said, look, at this stage I can't afford it. I'm keen just to put in the hard yards and see if I can lose the weight myself. I go, let's just get this knee better. He goes, yeah, anytime. He goes, anytime you want to like jump on the weight loss stuff, call the office. I'll do all the back end stuff now, and they'll just give you the prescription over the phone. And I'm like, how are you doing the back end stuff now when I've already said I'm not interested? But yeah, fuck you again, Australian healthcare system. I mean, it could be worse. I could live in America where you got to like pay to fucking get an ambulance and shit like that. But anyway, let's before we rip into my week in comedy, let's play another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Drag this bad boy over. All right, what's this guy on about?
Mine! Oh, mine! It's all mine! Mine! It's all mine!
My God, that guy looked like the bad guy from Sonic on meth. Oh, he's just the type of boss that you'd hit skip on if he was in a PlayStation game. But my God. All right, let's have another sip and rip into my week in comedy. Had 3 gigs this week, so tune in. Oh, yeah. I kicked it all off on Monday night at the Newmarket Hotel. And look, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say I recorded last week's episode on the Monday. This gig was also on that Monday. So you could only imagine the headspace I was in for this gig. And so I get to the gig. I find out I'm second on the lineup. And to be honest, I just wanted to get in, get out, and just accept my bomb and move on with my life. It's crazy. It's crazy to know that you're going to bomb before you even step foot on stage, but I just knew it was coming. And so it was also... how do I say this nicely? It was the MC that I've said a couple of times on here that shits on me every time I come off stage. And yet again, they did it on Monday. So let's just say I got up there. I actually ended up going first because the first person didn't rock up. So I was on first and I was waiting for the gig to kick off. The only silver lining was the big screen was playing old UFC fights. So it was Justin Gaethje versus Eddie Alvarez. And my God, did I want to be in that cage just getting absolutely split up in there because I was jealous of those guys getting the fuck beaten out of each other when I was about to go and try and make these people laugh. So I jump up and proceed to eat the bag of dicks that I knew I was going to eat. Absolutely horrendous spot. The bomb that I knew was coming. So I finish my set and the MC just jumps up. Just one word. Wow. Absolutely insulting. I would rather them say absolutely nothing. Just a wow. There is crazy. There's nothing worse than the crowd hating you, but when the MC gets up and just gives you one word feedback, absolutely horrendous. So that was that one. Then Wednesday night. So this is where I tried to turn things around, okay? I've done a lot of self-reflecting and like inside work this week, okay? So I had good chat on Wednesday night. And this was just a pressure moment for me. This was the moment where I knew I had to fucking deliver because I was in the headspace of like podcasting and comedy. It was done. I was gone. I had a foot out the door. And then on Wednesday, I was just like, you know what? I love good chat. I love the Wednesday shows. They're always fun. And I just knew I had to deliver. So I got to the gig and I was meant to be second on the lineup again. But they go, oh, do you mind if we move you to the second bracket? Because we've had some people, apparently they've booked another gig or something. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. Whatever you need me to do. And just quietly, I was like, I would prefer that spot because as I've said on the Wednesday nights at Good Chat, I prefer to go middle to end bracket. Crowd's warmed up. They're more engaged with the dirtier shit. And it gave me more time to sort of prepare and get ready for my set. So my time comes around and the headliner for the night was Craig Quartermain. I've said on here countless times before, him and Damien Power, probably my two favorite comedians in the scene. Whenever they're on a lineup, I just get so nervous, so anxious. I turn into a giddy little schoolgirl when they talk to me. And same deal. The act before me was up, and Craig comes up to me, and he just starts making small talk with me. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. And I'm like, oh God, please. And he just has this thing. He doesn't do it intentionally, but he always gives me like words of wisdom or just a tip or something. And it's always such nice stuff. And he always helps me with my material whenever I get off stage. And again, I think he said something, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh God, now I'm even more in my head. And then my name gets called. I just walk up to stage, and I just knew I had to fucking throw everything into this. I had 7 minutes. So I picked my best 7 minutes that I think I have. And I just knew I had to deliver each joke perfectly, no fumbling, no fucking up. I knew I had to walk around, use the stage, and I just knew I had to like buy 100% into each and every bit. And I fucking delivered. I had such a strong set. I was stoked. Was it the best set ever? No, but it was exactly what I needed. It was, I've said it countless times before. Stand up is like heroin. It's like it's a drug that you just can't quit, because once I was 3 minutes in, and I just had that fucking injection flowing through my veins. I was like, this is it. This is what you live for. Like, it is like, you can't explain the feeling to someone when you're on stage and you've just got like 80 people just engaged in whatever the fuck you're saying right now. So yeah, it's just fucking such a crazy feeling. I got off stage on a high, and yeah, got my shit and skipped back to my car basically. And then the following night, I got a call up from Sit Down. They go, do you want to do another Mitzi show? And I'm like, yep, sweet, put me in. Now, off the back of the last one, I came on here, I said it was a rough night. It wasn't exactly everything that I thought it was going to live up to. So I was a little bit in my head again. I was like, is this going to be a brutal gig? And I got the lineup Thursday morning, and I was second last again. And I'm like, fuck me, what is with all these late spots? I have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, everyone. But anyway, let's push through. So I got to the gig a little bit early, and I just sat upstairs just watching the footy, just trying to keep calm, calm the nerves, things like that. And then it was the break, and I'm like, all right, let's go downstairs. Same deal. I'm just sitting in the green room. I got the footy playing on my phone, just trying to be in my own world, just zoned out, not taking it too seriously, not trying to get in my own head. And I start to notice all the comedians getting off stage, coming back in the green room, just on a low, just, I don't know, acknowledging maybe they didn't have great sets. So then I like pop a headphone out and I start listening to the crowd, and it's same deal as the first Mitzi show I did. They were less than engaged. It just felt like comedy survival out there. And then I was still watching the footy, and I heard the person's name before me get called, and I'm like, oh fuck. Start putting my headphones away, start like preparing my shit, walk back behind the curtain. And I just sort of had that moment again where I was just standing behind the curtain waiting for my set, and I was just going through those little mantras that I've prepared for myself, just saying them over and over again, and just looking at that wallpaper, just seeing what it's all for. And I got out there, and I just knew I had to throw everything into it again. And look, I didn't win the entire room over, but I found like maybe 10 people in the room that were loving what I was saying. So I was just playing to them, and me playing to them sort of engaged the rest of the room. Like, they started to feel more comfortable with what I was saying. And considering how the night was going, I will claim that one as a win as well. Was it a huge crush? No, but considering the vibe of the room, I was stoked with how I went. So was it better than the first Mitzi's? Yeah. Is Mitzi's living up to what I thought it was? Probably not, but the mates that I have that do it more regularly and stuff, they're like, it's one of those gigs. Like, some nights it's horrendous, and then other nights it's an incredible gig. So I'm just waiting for that one Mitzi's where I'm just like, okay, sweet. It was worth the wait. So stay tuned for that one. Let's, before I get into what I've consumed this week, let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip.
The Cum Trees are in bloom. Better mind your aura.
Jesus Christ. The Cum Trees. Give me a home among the Cum Trees. Oh, God. Just some classic John Williamson there to wrap up our episode. But, yeah, what is that guy on? Things I've watched this week. I might just rip through these. I watched Funny AF with Kevin Hart on Netflix last week. Binge watched it while I was doing some quotes at work. I enjoyed that shit. That was so fucking sick. It was like a proper version of the Raw competition that I did last month of just actually good comedians having a crack. And just Kevin Hart, I think he did New York, LA, and Chicago. And he got some like professional comedians to come along and help judge them and shit like that. And yeah, it was cool. I think the final is on tomorrow. So yeah, go check that out. I'm intrigued to know if like non-comedians will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it. Like I messaged a couple of mates in the scene and they're not exactly like Kevin Hart fans, but they enjoyed the concept of the show and things like that as well. So there was a dude on there. I thought he was fucking hilarious. I hope he wins it. His name was Winston. He's just like this nerdy looking white dude. Just so good. So he's my pick. I hope he gets it. Then I binge watched the Hulk Hogan documentary also on Netflix. Absolutely wild timing for that. So obviously we all know Hulk Hogan, WWE superstar, basically made it what it is today. And like you cannot script the timing of that. So they filmed like the first 3 episodes, I think it was, while he was still alive. And then they finish those and then they say, all right, like they show the behind the scenes. They go, all right, that'll do us for these ones. Let's come back in 3 months and we'll just touch on anything we didn't touch on. And in those 3 months, that's when he died. It is like you can't script that shit. That is absolutely wild. So it's crazy to see a celebrity basically recap their entire life from the beginning to where they were at now, like through his childhood, through making the WWE what it is today, through all the scandals like the sex tape, when he like started dabbling in politics and things like that. And I'll put my hand up. I was a Hulk Hogan fan, and seeing the reception he got when WWE signed with Netflix and when he came out for that first episode and he like didn't really get the reception you thought he deserved. That was a little bit heartbreaking. And just to see that all broken down and get his thoughts on it and things like that. Wild shit. So go check that out, even if you're not a WWE fan. But I think we can all admit that, wrestling would not be what it is today without the help of that man. Then on Netflix over the weekend, Nikita's been sending me this trailer for like, I don't know, a few weeks now. She goes, we have to watch this when it comes out. So it's called Apex. It's like a thriller type movie. It's filmed in Australia. I don't know if it's classed as like an Australian movie, but it's filmed in Australia and the trailers look sick. I was all in. I was like, yep, let's check that out. And I don't know. I just did not fucking enjoy it one bit. We watched it, but it was dog shit in my opinion. I did not enjoy it. It's basically, spoiler alert, this lady comes and starts to explore like the Australian wilderness, and then it turns into a guy just hunting her through the bush and like shit like that. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy it? I thought it was shit. Let me know. Then the only other thing, I was going to touch on this last week, the NBA playoffs are on, and I don't know if it goes hand in hand with me starting to look at like NBA cards and shit like that, but I'm all in on this year's NBA playoffs. It is so good to just see some good basketball being played again. So I was all in on the rookies this year. Con Knuppel and Cooper Flag. My God, some of the best rookies we've seen come through the NBA in countless years. Like Con Knuppel scored, he was the leading 3-point scorer this year in the regular season. In his rookie year, he scored 273 3-pointers. So coming second for like, to put it in perspective, were LaMelo and Luka, which is wild to outdo those two in 3-pointers in your first year. Insane. And then Cooper Flag, he's being like put up there with the best rookie year since LeBron, which is wild. And he's a white boy. Shout out to all my white boys playing basketball. So yeah, it was crazy. And those two were both in the same college team. So it's just fucking sick to see. And then speaking about LeBron, my God, 41 years old. It's the biggest debate of all time. Who's the fucking GOAT? To me, it has to be LeBron James. Like, I get he doesn't have like the intensity that Michael Jordan and Kobe had and shit like that. But to just have the achievements that LeBron has still be playing when he's 41 years old, absolutely schooling everyone in the league. He has taken the Lakers on his shoulders at the moment and got them to where they're at in the NBA Finals. He also has his son in the same team. Fucking wild. So shout out to LeBron. And yeah, just keen to see who takes it out this year. All right. I said I was going to touch on the meltdown from last week. Let's take a little sip and then we'll touch on it. So last week was it was a shambles. I don't know what it was. It was just like, it was a breaking point of just everything just crumbling down. And I don't know. I think it's hard to say like where it all stems from and shit like that. But I think it all comes from, obviously I've started this TRT shit. Now, a big thing I wanted to start with that is it clears your brain fog, it clears your head noise, it helps with depression and anxiety, things like that. And yes, it 100% has. I feel so good in my headspace and things like that, in terms of brain fog and thinking straight and things like that. Now, I thought it was going to help me chase the dream a little bit more. I thought it was going to clear out all the negative thoughts and shit like that and be like, all right, let's knuckle down and fucking get this shit done. But it has, it's cleared the head noise up too much to where it's made me think like a regular person and go, what the fuck are you doing with your life, you stupid fuck? You have been doing this now for like 4 years and you're in the exact same position as you were 4 years ago. Like there's no money coming from podcasting or stand-up. And it made me stand back and look at things in perspective and go, at the end of the day, like I'm still like a husband, I'm a father, I've got a mortgage, I've got fucking bills and shit, like all you guys that are listening to this have. And to be more or less, I don't want to say neglecting that, but maybe not making all that shit my primary focus. It just made me stand back and go, you're a stupid fuck. Like, why are you chasing this shit that, let's face it, more than likely at this stage, gauging off a fucking, if we were to stand back and put like this on a graph or something, it's not going to work. Like there is no denying that this shit is probably not going to work out at this point. So it made me, like I said, last week I was genuinely 1 foot out the door. I planned on coming on here today and just going, that's it. I'm done with the podcast. I'm done with stand-up. I'm going to wind down whatever gigs I have booked in the calendar, and then that'll be me. And I jumped on Seek, I jumped on Indeed, and I started looking at other jobs and like other options. And the thing is, all I've ever done is cabinet making. So that sort of pigeonholes me into cabinet making jobs, unless I want to start from the bottom in a new career lane. So the thing is, like, if I was to go and get a new job in the cabinet making world, I would have to drop my wage. A lot of jobs would probably want me to install or be on a bench or something. I can't do that these days with my knee. I would be absolutely fried after the first week of work. Like I wouldn't be able to walk. So that sort of was like, okay, well, leaves me with management positions in the cabinet making world, which is more or less what I've got now. So why would I give up the job I've got now just to go do another one for potentially more money? Like I was at the point where I was going to call my old work where I was in a management position and take them up on their offer of like, if you ever want to come back, just call and we will fucking put you back in. But I was like, oh God, like, yes, the wage would be sick. Yes, I'd get a fuel card. Yes, I'd have the glorified safety net of like what a normal person, I guess, would see as a safe job. But I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that. So then I started looking at other career options. And same deal. I would have to take a dramatic pay cut, which would then put pressure on the mortgage and fucking family. Like I'll be completely open, but we're already living like week to week. Like if anything was to go drastically wrong, I don't know what we would do. We do not have a safety net. We've got nothing in place. Would be fucked if something bad was to happen. Like my car, for example, it's fucking 10,000 Ks overdue for its last service, just because every week we're like, oh, book it in next week. And then something comes up and I'm like, oh, she'll be right. just keep an eye on the oil and just fucking hope it keeps running. So, then I was like, okay, well, I can't start from the bottom in a new career. So I was like, okay, well, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this job and I'm stuck with this life that I've sort of chosen for myself. So then I was like, well, you've got no other, there is no other option than to make this shit work. So I stood back and I was like, look, what do I have to gain or lose if I was to throw the towel in right now and just call it quits with stand-up and podcasting? Basically, the last 4 years would be for nothing. All the money I've put into this, all the time I've put in for this, everything I've put into this shit would just be out the window and would be for nothing. And it'd also be like a lesson to the boys, I suppose, of like, oh, when shit gets too hard, just pull the pin, just quit. And I don't really want to show them that. So, I've just decided like I just got to keep going. And I have put somewhat of an internal time frame in my head of what sort of progressive steps I need to see. I don't want to see them. I need to see them at this point. Because if I get like another, and it's not 4 years, but I'm going to use 4 years as an example because that's already how long I've been doing it. If I was to get another 4 years in and I'm at this stage again, it's like that is insanity. That's the genuine description of what being insane is if I get another 4 years in and I'm nowhere from this shit. So, I just sort of, I've got an internal time frame of where I need to start seeing steps. I need to start making something happen. So on the back of all that, podcast wise, so stand up wise, that's a whole nother picture. I've got somewhat of a map planned out of little goals and targets that I need to hit that I'm going to do. But podcast wise, the only way this thing grows, and again, I fucking hate doing this, but it's the truth. The only way it grows is with the help of you guys, the listeners. The other crazy thing about last week was the first week where I could have genuinely monetized the podcast. We got enough downloads where I could have hit the monetize button on it. We could have started running ad sponsors, things like that. But I just felt like a complete fraud if I was to deliver the episode I did last week and then hit that button. Like, I don't know, it made me feel disgusting. So appreciate all the new listeners that have jumped onto this shit, and hopefully after last week you've jumped over and listened to this episode and got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But yeah, the only way this thing is going to grow is if you guys buy in as much as I've bought in. If there is a reel that I've posted over the journey of this podcast that you've enjoyed, go back, find it, throw it on your stories, tag me in it, share it to fucking find one mate at work or one of your family members this week that has the same sense of humor as you. Tell them to jump on, give it a crack. Find your favorite episode, tell them to go back and listen to that and go, hey, this dipshit has his down weeks, but hey, maybe fucking 2 out of every 10 episodes are absolutely cracker. So go give it a listen. And I know, I've said it before, I'm a one-man band with this shit. I know it's not the most polished podcast in the world. I know it's clunky and fucking all over the shop, and I get that shit. But I'm doing my best over here. So there's a lot of fucking podcasts out there that, and again, I'm not throwing any shade. I understand there's a lot of people doing this for the money side of things, and I get it. Part of me thinks that if that money was being thrown at me, I would do it as well. But there's also parts where I want you guys to understand, if this shit does get monetized, I genuinely want to be a good person with this shit. I'm all for watching those videos of paying for people's fuel and groceries and shit like that. And if I do eventually make it one day, I would like to think that I'm the type of person that would fucking go and do that type of shit. I don't want to be like these people where it's like a lot of podcasts I listened to this week were like, oh, it's Anzac Day this week. Shout out to our troops. But also on the back of that, if you use our discount code here, you'll get 20% off, blah, blah, blah. And it's just tying fucking good shit like Anzac Day. Oh, not you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that Anzac Day is good shit, but just tying all that into monetizing your podcast made me feel fucking disgusting. So I just want you guys to know, if you do fucking support me, hopefully my little story here is one of those stories where you see like people put posts up and be like, oh, we made the right choice in boosting this guy up. So, I genuinely don't know where the fuck that rant got towards the end of that. But, I just want to say again, I genuinely appreciate you guys that come back every single week and have fully bought into whatever the fuck I dribble. I appreciate you guys. I would not be sitting in this chair if you guys did not buy in, because there were genuine weeks where I had 7 downloads and I was like, why am I doing this shit? So I just think back to those moments, and now I look at the weekly downloads and I go okay, I started this by saying I've had no progression, but I suppose that is a form of progression. Just looking back and seeing the downloads now, it is it's wild to see. So hopefully we can boost that even more. I do appreciate you guys. I hope this hasn't come off as sounding like a whiny little bitch, but I just felt responsible that I had to come in and give you guys a bit of perspective as to where my brain's at and where shit's going. So I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm going to keep pursuing this shit for the foreseeable future, but by God, do I need to see fucking do I need to see something come out of it? And again, it doesn't need to be like a monetary, maybe it doesn't need to be a monetary thing that I need to come out of it, but just something, you know what I mean? Just the downloads just keep rising. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm all over the shop in this head of mine, but I just want to say thank you for grinding it out with me, and sorry for being a whiny little bitch last week. But shit to plug this week. I've got Good Chat. So I'm doing they've got like a new open mic show called Greenlight. So they hit me up after last Wednesday's show and said, do you want to come and try some new material? So I'm going to get some new gear ready for that. That's on Tuesday the 28th. So the day this podcast drops, I'll be at Good Chat. Then I am at a new gig at the Spice Bar in the Valley. So that's Julian Wood's new comedy club. He has got, I don't know, probably millions of followers over all platforms on socials, and he's having a crack at opening his new little comedy club there. So he's asked me to be on his first lineup, which is sick. So I think I'm opening that show. So Wednesday the 29th, I'll be there. I think it's already sold out. So then Sunday, I am dabbling with the idea of going to another new little open mic that's opened up on Caxton Street at Pago or Pargo. I don't know. But that's just a sign up on the night one. So I was talking to the room runner the other night, and he sort of asked if I could come along and see what it's all about. So I'm considering jumping up to that on Sunday the 3rd. If you guys are around that area, come say a g'day. But other than that, guys, if you want to get in touch with the show, send submissions via DM on Instagram at Can't Get Any Worse Podcast, or shoot me an email at can'tgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. Like I said, I genuinely appreciate you guys. If you can fucking like, share, rate, all that shit, the podcast, it would mean the absolute world. So thank you again. I appreciate you all, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining.